Welcome to the Nerds Cantos.
That's right. That's right. All right. Week boys. It's the end. We finished Ultimate Spider-Man. I think all of us finished like a week and a half ago. A week ago. A week ago.
Something like that.
Doesn't
Not
matter.
too long.
That was a week ago. It's been a long time for me because I've already been reading the other thing we're supposed to read after, and I'm almost done with that. And so my mind is,
You're crazy.
it's great, but we never say what we read, so that will remain nameless. But we're gonna talk about Spider-Man. We're gonna give our thoughts on the ending arcs here. Obviously, we're gonna do what we normally do. I think we'll talk about Ultimatum for a bit because it's funny, and then I don't know. We give our thoughts as a whole on Ultimate Spider-Man. I think at the end, I think that's the game plan for today.
Sounds good.
So last we left off, the Clone Saga. That was the arc immediately following where we ended last time. I don't even know, man. I mean, what do you guys think of the Ultimate Clone Saga? You know,
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
Thought it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That's all you got.
I thought I wouldn't because...
No, I was waiting for Nolan to continue.
I thought it was really crazy, especially because I know that the Clone Sagas and Spider-Man usually aren't good at all. From what I have heard from my little nerd liaison
from
here.
me and Stewie, yeah.
Not too much on my goat. Not too much.
There are two good Clone Sagas. The one, this one, the Ultimate Spider-Man Clone Saga is pretty good, and Miles got a Clone Saga like 3 years ago, and it was pretty okay. It's not like great. It's definitely like one of the worst Miles stories, but it's still fine, you know?
That's a Kingpin shit, isn't it?
No, Miles has this villain who's like an AI robot guy who like kidnaps him and then clones him. And he has an evil clone, and then he has a clone who can't really speak, who has sort of become his brother now. And he's still around. Evil clone is dead.
I think I was thinking of main universe one. He was like, yeah, that's a whole different thing. That's what I was thinking of.
But the Miles stuff, that was okay. The Miles book is actually pretty consistently good, but we're not here to talk about that. No, I think the Clone Saga is pretty solid. I think the wildest parts about it are Richard Parker showing up and then being a fake clone man. Even though this
that was wild.
The CIA like puts memories in him to make him think he's been alive the whole time, and also is a CIA like tool working to fight against Nick Fury, but it turns out the whole time he is a clone. Well, it doesn't matter. He's purely here so Aunt May can have a fucking heart attack, dude. Yeah.
Yes, that was nuts.
Because Aunt May has a heart attack. I mean, so the biggest stuff. So that's obviously crazy, but the actual biggest ramifications of this are Peter and MJ are like permanently back together, and
they start to like see each other again, kind of.
And he doesn't call Kitty.
Yeah. They're a little mold that gets interrupted by Scorpion Peter.
I don't love Scorpion Peter, by the way. I don't know about you.
I mean, I think he's a little cool.
He's cool.
I
don't like that he's insane and in constant agony. That's a little rough for him. But I do think he's kind of cool, and I like it. I like his suit, and I like his little like acid shooter. I think that's a cool like knockoff web shooter. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a waste of Scorpion. You know, that's
it
for me.
Is a waste of Scorpion.
Because I agree. I think he looks cool. I like all his moves and stuff. Like the acid shooter's cool, but I'm just like, wow, he's gone forever after this, and we just never had Scorpion. But fine.
I guess they didn't want to do like a Scorpion arc this late because I mean, like,
no, because Bendis wants to use three villains.
At this time would cream Scorpion.
Well, that's true, but no, I mean, Scorpion's fine. There's a bunch of other clones. There's one that looks like a spider guy. There's Jessica Drew, who's like the most famous and important one. That's Spider-Woman, obviously.
I like Spider-Woman.
She's awesome. Spider-Woman is great. super interesting that there is like technically a like trans Peter Parker running around in the universe. Basically, like it's you know, I don't know that Bendis really thinks about it that much, but
I mean, it's kind of written that, like, it is kind of implied that just kind of like struggles with that kind of thing because she has regular Peter's memories.
yeah, right, which is fucked up. Her
Yeah,
existence is crazy. Where they're like, yeah, you have Peter's memories,
all of their
we'll
existences
erase
are
them.
terrible. Like,
Yeah,
absolutely
it's
the most awful
very
thing.
it's very crazy. We get some more Fantastic Four in this arc.
The
This is
Maker.
Yeah,
the Maker is here. This is kind of Peter becoming friends with them, and they like cure MJ, who gets turned into a weird red Yeti monster. We're not going to talk about it. It doesn't really matter. It does give her PTSD, but like I did love shout out. There's that scene where Mary Jane. This is later, but Mary Jane and Peter are asking Reed Richards why Mary Jane's having crazy visions, and then the Thing just walks out and he goes, "Yeah, you got PTSD, man. We all got it." And you're just like, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, when you're fighting
it's
demons,
also insane because the rest of the Fantastic Four are like, Ben, what the fuck are you talking about?
yeah, dude. I know the Maker's got
PTSD? What?
PTSD though. All right, you can't. Don't look
He
at me,
definitely
Maker. I
has
know you're
everything.
fucked up over there.
Everything he has.
You
Like,
got everything
every
wrong. I know
single
he just cut it out of his own brain, so he doesn't remember it, but I bet he had it back in the day. Doesn't matter. Turns out
Probably.
Otto Octavius is the one who's making the clones and he works for the CIA.
Fucking Fed Otto
He
is
becomes a Fed.
nuts.
Great moment though, where Nick Fury shows up and he tries to arrest Peter, and Peter's like, "All right, I'll let you arrest me, but first, let me beat this shit out of Otto Octavius." And Nick Fury's like, "Dude, I like that deal. Like I take that deal." And then you get a big fight with Otto, and it turns out he's a mutant.
Yep.
Man thing. I don't know. It's kind of odd.
He's a freak.
Yeah, he's a mutie freak, but the explosion.
Magneto, if you will.
That's basically what he is. The explosion just activated his latent. He says his latent mutant ability that lets him control metal. Okay, yeah, why not? I don't care. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I mean, it's kind of neat, I guess, because it like ties into his whole like actual like technopathy sort of thing he had going on for a majority of the book, where he's talking to his arms. But like, I don't know, it is just kind of weird.
Yeah,
it's kind of odd.
It's fine. I think I'm just like, yeah, okay, we're 100 issues into this. Like, just do whatever the fuck you want with Otto Octavius. Like, yeah, why not? And they have, it's a fun fight with Jessica and Peter teaming up and like beating the shit out of him. But,
poison-looking Peter helping once before you.
For the other Peters just have the worst time ever.
Multi-armed Peter was cool too.
He was a chiller.
He genuinely just wanted the help and got bodied.
It's okay though, because
skewered.
They're all dead, so we don't have to worry about them. Aunt May forgives Peter. Because she has that heart attack, and then it's like, "You're not my son." And then immediately it's like,
Peter's like, "I'm Spider-Man," and also Gwen Stacy came back from the dead.
I forgot about that.
She's also a monster now
because she's Carnage.
Yeah,
she's Carnage.
The Carnage again. Oh, and then Richard Parker walks.
Yeah, then Richard Parker's there, but Aunt May knew that one. That's the one she knew about because she's like, "Yeah, he came to me a week ago," and you're just like, "Wow, dude, this is crazy." But it's okay. Aunt May forgives Peter, and then Kitty shows up, and Kitty has a conversation with Professor X where she's like, "You should mind wipe Aunt May," and he's like, "That is a gross violation of what we do. I'm not gonna fucking do that." And Kitty's like, "Do it, you weird bald freak," and then she gets kicked out of the Xavier Institute.
Yep.
Because Xavier just like kicks 16-year-olds out of the school who like backtalk him, because that's what he does, I guess. It's a great look on Xavier's part. No one likes him.
Would do that.
He would. Ultimate Xavier would do that. And then the big kind of cliffhanger is Kitty goes to their school now.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows that Peter's seeing MJ again, which is not great because.
I mean, to be fair to Peter, he didn't really get an opportunity to call and talk to her, but he also kind of avoids it for like another 2 weeks.
It is. I don't blame him for not finding the time to call her. And it is like 2005 or whatever. So, you can't really just text her. And I think he says he wants to do it over the phone or whatever. So I get it. But then when she does come back, he has that conversation with MJ where she's like, "Did you talk to her yet?" And he's like, "No, I'm gonna." Like I'll get to that. And you're kind of like, it's not great, but that's okay because the Kingpin is back and Nolan is messing with his mic.
Yeah, am I?
I don't know. It's
Something's
some
dog.
noises were happening.
My bad.
The Kingpin comes back, and I actually mentioned this last episode, and I was wrong that it didn't happen last episode. But he owns the rights to Spider-Man, and so he starts just printing Spider-Man merch, which I think is great. That's funny. That's all I have to say about that. That's a cool Kingpin thing. Also, Daredevil shows up at Peter's school and is like in not as Daredevil, but as Matt Murdock.
Yeah, he's like Matt Murdock.
And this is so crazy. He walks up to Peter and he goes, "Do you recognize me?" Just a grown ass adult looking at this 15, 16-year-old like, "Do you know who I am?"
Just rage bait.
Yeah, and Peter eventually gets to the fact that he's Daredevil, and Daredevil goes, "Good, meet us after school." And then when they meet up, Daredevil's like, "It's all the guys, it's Daredevil, it's Shang-Chi, it's Doctor Strange, it's Moon Knight, and it's Iron Fist." And Daredevil's like, "We're gonna kill the Kingpin." And immediately Spider-Man's like, "Yeah, I'm not fucking doing that, man. I'm not signing up to murder the Kingpin." And I hate these guys. I hate the Ultimate Knights, guys.
Dude.
I can't stand these people.
Junior Strange is funny when he's alone, but as soon as you put him next to other regular superheroes, he's just an ass.
Dude.
He's just the worst person in the
he's like
room.
a rich dick who isn't taking any of this seriously because he fights demons. And I'm not joking. It's not like it's not the joke we say where we're like, "Oh, Peter's fighting demons." Haha. No, Strange is literally fighting biblical demons. And you're asking him to assassinate the Kingpin. Why is he here? That's all I'm saying. Why did you invite Doctor Strange? Shit, why did you invite Moon Knight, man? I know it's because, he's a vigilante, but he's crazy. Speaking of him being crazy,
God.
They ask him to infiltrate the Kingpin organization. And he does this as Ronin. So here we get Ultimate Ronin. And Kingpin says to Ronin, he says, you should go and kill Spider-Man. And so, Spider-Man, or sorry, not Spider-Man, but Ronin's like, "Okay, where does Spider-Man go?" "Oh yeah, he goes to school." So Ronin drives a school bus, into the school, and then whips out, Uzis, and just starts spraying the ceiling like, "Bring me Spider-Man."
I think he throws some grenades too.
All I know is that Peter grabs all of his friends, gets them away, and then he starts to beat the shit out of Ronin, where he's like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?"
Yeah, because Kitty tries to stop him because she has mutant powers and she's going to school, and that lasts for about 2 seconds until Ronin punches her in the face and just knocks her out.
And this is something I don't love. Ronin knocks Spider-Man out. I think that's a little, come on, man. We're 100 issues into this where Spider-Man still getting knocked out by people. Fine, whatever. And he takes him to Fisk, and Fisk takes his mask off in front of all these goons. And I love this. You basically have the scene where Fisk is like, "You're gonna keep being Spider-Man because I own you, and if you keep being Spider-Man, I'm gonna keep making money. But if you stop being Spider-Man, I have a picture of your face, and I'm gonna kill you." And Peter's just like, "Oh, all right, man. I guess I'll keep being Spider-Man." Kingpin also says your friend Daredevil, Matt Murdock, he sold you out. So Spider-Man shows up to their secret meeting place, which is just on the roof adjacent from Matt's law office. You couldn't pick a better place, Daredevil? What the fuck? Whatever. Sorry. He shows up and he just starts wailing on Daredevil. And he's freaking out, and then all of a sudden, Matt Murdock's office explodes. You know, guys, like that one comic book, Born Again, that we all like, because that's what happens in that one. And I actually do really love this moment, because Spider-Man swings in, and he's like, Matt Murdock, you fucking sold us out. And Matt is like, one, how do you know my name? And then when Spider-Man's like, oh, Kingpin told me, because he sold you out. Fucking Daredevil goes, did he say my real name? Like, that's what he cares about. He's so mad that Kingpin knows who he is. But it turns out Iron Fist is the mole.
Yeah. We do see that. We see, like, select few panels. Like, it happens right after the initial meeting. So we know that.
Yeah, that's not, just for the characters to learn. Because Iron Fist has a daughter. And so he basically goes to Kingpin because he's like, I don't want you to shoot my daughter. Sure.
Yeah, man. If only you could have prevented that by wearing a fucking mask.
Wearing a mask or talking to the team of superhero vigilantes you work with. It doesn't matter. They send Iron Fist back. And so he has this conversation with Fisk where he's like, Fisk is like, what did you is it done? Are they dead? And Iron Fist is like, no, they sent me here to tell you something. And Fisk is like, what? And then Iron Fist is like, I'm the distraction. Cut to, Daredevil he's basically about to murder Vanessa. He's got
crazy shit.
He's literally
he broke into Kingpin's penthouse and he's just holding her there.
Yeah, just waiting. By the way, he's waiting to do it for him to show up. Kingpin shows up. You have this moment. It's the only moment in this entire book where Kingpin has like some humanity, where he's like, please don't kill her. And then Peter kind of swings in and is like, all right, Daredevil, what are we doing, man? You can't just murder this woman who's in a coma. She's not even like alive, dude. Like, and then Daredevil's like, okay, because Spider-Man talks him down. With a really great power, great responsibility speech. It's a good speech. And they basically just tell Fisk to fuck off. Because Fisk is like, oh, we'll fucking kill you guys. And Spider-Man's like, are we doing this right now, man? Like, we almost killed your wife, dude. Like, come on. But it's okay, because Fisk is going to go to jail. Because earlier he shot Moon Knight in the head. And that doesn't kill Moon Knight somehow.
Yeah, Moon Knight gets up like Courier fucking 6 and limps his way to the police station.
Not even a bullet hole in his head. He's just
I think he's still bleeding when he opens the door.
Guys,
too.
what it is this obviously this is the thing that people with DID are hiding from us, and it's that you can shoot one of their alters and then the other ones can just stand up, right? Like, clearly that's what Bendis is trying to tell us.
You're so right.
Is that if
volumes.
If you have dissociative identity disorder, you can just die and get right back up, and then you can go to the prison and you can take your mask off and you can say, "My name is Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, Moon Knight, Ronin, Kingpin tried to kill me," and then Kingpin and you will go to jail forever. It's not true. Kingpin eventually gets out, but we'll talk about that later. Nolan, how do you feel about Ultimate Knights?
I thought it was pretty wild. I enjoyed it. I liked Daredevil. I really liked when they confronted Daddy Rand. By they, I mean Daredevil about fucking turned him into a victim.
Yeah.
I'm a human lie detector.
That is, I do love Daredevil. Just immediately knowing
Shang-Chi coming to bat for Danny after that's so crazy.
Like, no, guys, come on, hold on, guys.
Come on, he's alright. He's got a wife,
Yeah, he's got a wife and a kid, dude. Fuck out of here. No, I like Ultimate Knights. I just hate that, which is something we've talked about before. All of these Ultimate heroes, fucking, oh, my dogs are barking. They all suck, right? They're all awful.
I do like the Daredevil moment with him and Vanessa Kingpin. I think that's like almost the closest we get to like regular main universe Daredevil when he's like really mad. But everything else is just
Yeah.
everything else is just him not being like at all.
This Daredevil is too much of an ass. Like he
that's what I'm
doesn't
saying.
have.
He's like too argumentative and combative.
Yeah. Which Daredevil is always, I like when he gets mad or stuff like we talked about in Born Again. But I don't know, Daredevil, and we have a whole video on Daredevil where we all talk about our ideas on Daredevil. But in my mind, he is supposed to be kind of the more Batman, like rude, but he's also supposed to be like, I don't know, there's supposed to be some hope there, maybe sometimes. Like it's not,
I feel like if he was a little bit nicer of Peter and he didn't like treat him like a naive asshole like everyone else does in this book, he'd be better.
Either way, now we're at issue 111, which is a special issue because it marks the end of Mark Bagley on the book as the artist. I miss the GOAT. I'll forever miss the GOAT Bagley. He is replaced for the rest of this run with Stuart Immonen, who is just as good. I mean, Stuart Immonen is killing this shit, I think. I prefer Bagley, but I've also had 111 issues to get used to Bagley. So, what can I say?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind his art, but I feel like I don't know. In some panels, it looks like Peter is like way older. He looks like 18-year-old.
I believe you said this, Nolan, but the when they're out of their costumes doing human shit, he does look older. He looks a little weird, but the Spider-Man stuff that Stuart Immonen does is like chef's kiss, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. It looks good, but they just look older. Like they look
it's
way
different.
older.
It takes a little bit of an adjustment, but issue 111 is really just a big talk. It's art both done by Bagley and Immonen. But it's Aunt May and Peter talking about like Spider-Man and why he's Spider-Man and how it works. And it's I think beautiful. I think it's a work of art.
I loved it.
Yeah.
He also fights the Spot.
He does fight Ultimate Spot.
He does.
Which is there's a lot of good jokes in there because Aunt May's like, so how do you find people to beat up? And he's like, I don't like that you're saying the word beat up, but I just kind of swing around until I start hearing some really cliche dialogue like, no, Robert, you were so much better than this. Don't do this. And then he just swings in and he beats the shit out of the Spot, which is a lot of fun. I like the Spot. Underrated villain. Obviously, he's in a really big movie the other year, so I guess it's not that underrated anymore.
Not so underrated anymore.
When I first read this, I was like, yo, this guy's fucking cool, because I didn't know who the Spot was. Not a lot happens in this though. It's just some really great art from Immonen, some really great art from Bagley, and then we get one of my favorite arcs, Death of the Goblin. All right, Green Goblin is back.
Oh my god!
There's a lot of school stuff with this. Peter and Kitty have sort of made up. Kitty's kind of
they're all right.
They're all right. They're all right. Kitty's starting to see Kong, because Flash comes up into some really he's mutant phobic. And Kong, for the first time in his life, beats the shit out of Flash. And he's like, apologize. Awesome. Do not be racist, you fucking freak. And I was like, oh, Kong, you know what? I've come around, buddy. You're cool. So Kitty's kind of into Kong. They have the whole baby project where they get paired up. And Peter and Kitty get paired up and they have to watch over like a baby. I always thought this was like a real thing. It was a real thing. Schools did do this, but like I was always a little mad that our school never did this, Nolan. Because I always thought it would be fun to do the baby project. I don't know, probably because of this book.
Could have gotten a girlfriend from it.
Oh man, I do.
The illusion of high school tropes,
That's what I'm saying, dude. As a kid, because you see it in movies, I saw it in this, and so I read this freshman year again. So I was like, right, this is what high school's like. Going into no, it's not.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
It'd be cool, other than it exploding every couple of weeks.
Well, This I would not want to live here. I don't want to live in the Marvel universe or the DC. I don't want to live in either of these places.
Dude, you don't want an insane mercenary to drive a bus through your front
man.
Door.
In fact, I don't. I also don't want to live in a world where the Triskelion, the place where S.H.I.E.L.D. is their base of operations and their prison, it's like maybe only a couple hundred feet off of Manhattan. And also Norman Osborn escapes every fucking week and a half, dude. Because he has this moment where it's Carol Danvers and she's running S.H.I.E.L.D. because Fury's gone. And I think it's explained in a different Ultimate book, but I think he's in space or something. It doesn't matter. Fury's not here. And so Carol runs S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury, the end names, man. Norman Osborn is like, fuck out of here, woman. Bring me Fury. We're going to make a deal. And she's like, dude, we own you. We don't need you to make a deal.
I think what would help these security measures is Carol Danvers not walking into every supervillain cell and then rage baiting them.
Dude, yeah, she blows raspberries at him. It's crazy.
She's done it to like
she did Sandman. Or no, sorry, it was Electro who was like, let me see your tits. And she was like, okay. And then rage baits him. I like Carol Danvers. I like that she's kind of an ass in this universe. That's Captain Marvel, by the way, Nolan. I don't know.
Yeah.
What?
Carol Danvers, that's Captain Marvel, yeah.
Why did she do anything?
Because we meet Ultimate Captain Marvel later. We'll talk about him, and it's not. Captain Marvel's a legacy title. Carol Danvers is the second Captain Marvel, and so she never becomes Captain Marvel in this universe. I don't know. At least not to my knowledge. Maybe she does later, but not in Spider-Man. Regardless, Osborn just breaks out. I do love the running gag because it happened with Fury, it happens with Carol Danvers, where everyone thinks Osborn doesn't have his superpowers anymore, and he always has his superpowers. They never
keep
get
him in
rid
the
of it.
exact same cell too.
Yeah, they're not even. It doesn't matter. He breaks out.
We keep underestimating this motherfucker. Yeah,
we get a There's a fun issue from Norman's perspective as he's breaking out, where you just get to see his inner monologue, and he's still crazy. He's still batshit insane, and he frees Electro, and Electro sort of teams up with him. And then he holds a press conference where he's like, S.H.I.E.L.D. took my son. They took my son. And he's sort of gone. He's sort of gone a little crazy. And he talks about my boy in his mind, talking about Peter again, because of course. And so Spider-Man is just like, all right, I gotta lock in. There's a great moment where him and MJ see this press conference, and MJ just has like a full-blown PTSD attack. Because, Norman Osborn...
They both kind of do.
Peter's not having it great, but Peter's like, listen to me, MJ. You get out of town. I gotta go tell Aunt May to get out of town. And then I'm gonna beat the shit out of Norman Osborn, And so he like, swings home. He gets to Aunt May, and he's just like, get the fuck out of here. He goes to Norman's apartment. Electro is there. He fights Electro. S.H.I.E.L.D. captures both Peter and Electro. And so you kind of have this moment where, again, Carol Danvers is just rage baiting Peter. She's like using all of his web fluid, and she's like making fun of him. It turns out he's bait for Norman Osborn because, that's actually pretty valid. But it doesn't work because Norman doesn't give a fuck right now. And so Kitty shows up. And is this where we see her new costume, or have we seen her costume before?
I think we've seen it before. She helped Peter. There was a little team up thing.
Yeah, okay. But she's got the costumes, fucking whack ass. I like it, but it's a goofy little kind of cat themed thing. And they're
Shadowcats.
Yeah, it is. Her name is Shadowcat, so it works. But basically, Kitty frees them, and then Carol's like, "All right, I'll stop rage baiting you guys. Let's go team up and beat Norman Osborn." And so they do. They go and fight Norman Osborn.
Also, give these teenagers 2 guns.
I do, yeah. They did give.
Carol says it's not a gun, but it's definitely a gun. She's just
a fucking gun.
It's like a gun that destabilized their genetics, which is
Yeah.
arguably worse.
It is worse, but they don't
honest.
use them because they don't use guns and they're 15. So it's really weird that she hands them guns. But so they run up. Norman Osborn is looking for his money, so he's going to like his lawyer, and then there's like someone else in the chain as well, who his lawyer's like, I pay, or something, where it's, or his banker or whatever it is. He's going to a lot of people trying to get money, and Peter shows up. They have a crazy fight. They like in this spectacularly like drawn action sequence, Peter and Norman get kicked out of the building they're in, and Peter doesn't have webs, so he's just kind of falling to his death, and Kitty has to like jump out of the building, grab him, and then phase through the ground, and then Norman's just kind of gone. And so they try to like fuck around and and to get Norman to show up, but it doesn't work. And they're like, well, Norman's gone, I guess. And so Peter goes back to his house, and he's got like 2 shield agents watching him, and he gives them food. And then they seemed like chillers,
They were nice.
They were, yeah. One of them was like, "I'm a big fan, dude," which is like,
I like the freak out he has on Danvers after Norman disappears too. He fucking screams at her in the middle of the street.
Which him and Kitty say he was doing to try to like drag Norman back out, where he's like saying all this crazy shit about Norman and how stupid S.H.I.E.L.D. is and blah blah blah. It doesn't work because Norman's gone. But Peter's like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed, and then Norman's in his house, and he basically is like, you need to tell the world that I made you, because then the world will see me as a genius, because I'm a genius. And Peter's like having this moment where he's like, please, man, I'm going to kick the shit out of you. Like, you need to stop.
Get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah, he's like, stop doing this. And then Harry comes on the TV.
Dude, no, before that, a note gets slid under the door. Because he's like, they don't know I'm here. And a note slides under the door saying, turn on CNN.
Yeah, they fully know he's here, and they fully want him to see this thing. But either way, Harry goes on TV, and he does the thing from the Sonic fan dub 2, where my dad is a bitch-ass motherfucking goblin man. And then Norman knocks Peter out, and he, like, goblins out and runs to the... I don't think it's a Triskelion, but it's just, like, a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier or something. It's just a S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. And so Peter wakes up, and he, like, runs over there. And so Harry and Norman both goblet out, and they're beating the shit out of each other. And so Peter's, like, in the middle, trying to like stop this nonsense, and Peter gets knocked into the water, and so he's like climbing back up the thing, and as he's doing that, Norman is punching Harry, and it's a moment I love because it's like 4 panels, it's all the same panel, but there's like onomatopoeias in each panel. It's like crack, or it's like thoom, 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 and then the last one is just crack, and you see instead of like a goblin arm, it's like Harry's normal human arm. And so Norman just murdered his son. And he depowers and then looks at Carol Danvers and he goes, kill me. And then they just fucking lay into him. And the goblins are dead. Except for Norman Osborn. But Harry Osborn is dead. So rest in peace. I don't know.
It was fucked up.
Rest
dude.
in peace.
It was fucked up. It left me in shock.
Peter freaks out on Carol Danvers. He screams at her again.
Yeah. Deserved.
Because this woman really can't. Like, S.H.I.E.L.D. in its entirety is just badass job. Like, so Carol is like really bad. Like,
yeah,
she should not be heading this. Like, at least not alone. Like, I don't know who thought it would be a good idea to have like one regular agent head the entire organization, but they're insane.
It's really bad. But this is a great moment.
Why isn't Nick Fury doing it? I know that like he is in some sort of trouble, right? Like in like
I don't remember.
Bad standing because of things that happen at the end. I don't know. I remember him getting stood up by Captain America at the end. So
he's doing some other mission for the Ultimates or something. Like he's doing something else in universe. I think this might be one of the times he gets there's a story where he gets sent to the main 616 universe, and so this might have been that. I don't remember. Either way, he's not here. Because he's on some crazy mission. And he comes back, but like you know.
You just show us back up.
Yeah, it's not really explained. But Harry's death is great. I think it's
I think the chapter ends with Peter Thomas or something, right?
Yeah, in class is a moment where his teacher's doing just being a teacher, I don't know, she's doing bullshit. And Peter's like, hey, can we talk about the fact that Harry Osborn, our friend, is fucking dead? And he has like a monologue where he talks about knowing Harry his entire life or whatever, and Harry was like a good guy. I don't think Harry was a good guy at all, by the way. If you actually read the book, Harry's pretty much he's like
not.
a piece of shit.
Just a horn dog.
He's a horn dog. He's a pretty typical 15-year-old rich jock guy. And then he becomes a crazy goblin man because his dad conditioned him to be a crazy goblin man. And so I'm just like, is what Peter's saying, like, I'm like, is it real? Probably not, but it is really well written. And I think it's a great moment for Peter as a character because he cannot have a week of his life without shit going absolutely crazy. You know, so I don't know. I love this arc. I love the fights. Like, the goblin fights are drawn really well. They're super fun. I think I just like Ultimate Goblin, guys.
I think it might be my favorite arc. It's close.
For me, it's up there. Basically, every arc with the Goblin is like the best thing I've ever read. For me, out of this book at least. And the next arc is about Firestar, the amazing friend from that 70s TV show, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yeah, I used to watch that. Believe it or not. Don't remember anything about it aside from the main characters, but I used to.
They fight Dr. Doom in the first episode, I think.
I fight a lot of people. I remember the Craven episode for some reason, like the most.
Either way, so Spider-Man and his homie, and by Spider-Man I mean Peter. Peter and his friends go to the beach. We're talking Peter, MJ, Kitty and Kong, who are together. Liz Allen's there with Johnny Storm, and then Iceman's there. Because Iceman is, like, lonely and he wants to be friends with
Iceman just fucking pulls up
Yeah.
on his giant, like, ice skate that he makes to, like, get around.
Yeah.
And he just fucking shows up to try to talk to Kitty, and Kitty obviously freaks out because why would you do that?
Yeah, because they had a bad relationship, but it's okay. Iceman's trying to be better. He's trying to be a better man, and he's like, you're my friend, I miss you, and the school kind of sucks. And Kitty's like, okay, I guess you can hang out with us. Obviously, Liz doesn't like mutants, and so she kind of doesn't like Johnny, even though Johnny's super into her. And so Johnny's like, hey, listen, I'm not a mutant. Like, maybe we can get over this. And then all of a sudden, Liz lights on fire. Because Liz is a mutant. And so she, like, flies away. Iceman chases after her, but Johnny gets, like, a Fantastic Four call and just has to leave, which is so fucked up. That's so crazy that he just abandons it. But we have a great Kong moment where Kong is basically like, Peter, what are you doing? Go after her. Peter's like, what are you talking about, man? I'm not doing anything. And Kong has this thing where he's like, man, do we just got to pretend if I just turn around and you run away and Spider-Man saves her? Like, because Kong fucking knows. And he's known the entire time. And they never really talk about this later. It really comes up again. But it's a fun, I think, like, the culmination of Kong's arc into becoming a good guy is where he's like, Peter, I know you're Spider-Man, go save the day. Like, okay. But yeah, they run into Liz. Peter reveals his identity to Liz. Liz is sort of calming down. She's kind of becoming less mutant phobic. And then Magneto shows up.
Yeah, the identity thing happens after.
Yeah, but listen, I don't care about the chronological order of this arc, okay? Magneto shows up, and Magneto's like, come, my child, your father asks me to find you. And then the X-Men show up, and they all fight Magneto, and Liz tells Magneto to fuck off. And then you're like, wow, I wonder who her dad was. And then you see a cutaway of Magneto on Mutant Island. And he's talking to Blob. And Liz's dad is the Blob.
Craziness.
We're going to talk about the Blob in a minute. You know what I'm saying, Stewie?
Stewie
knows what I'm saying.
The fucking Blob.
We're going to talk about the Blob. But yeah, so then Liz is like, okay, I'll go to Xavier's school. Because I'm a mutant. After this, we get the annual 3. My notes are very sparse here, so I don't necessarily remember. Here's what I have written down in my notes. Ultimate Mysterio shows up. He's pretty cool. I stand by that. I love Ultimate Mysterio. We'll talk about that later. And then I also wrote Pete and MJ are having a fight because she wants to have sex, and he said not right now, and now she's nervous. That's all that happens in annual 3, according to my
weird.
I think the only big things that you would miss is we get more I almost said Jessica Drew. Jones.
Oh, Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, she's at the school now, and MJ like works in her club, like a
Yeah, the
high school reporter.
newspaper to be like a
Yeah.
reporter. Yeah, cool. Because we're gonna move on. Pete's got to fight Omega Red, who attacks
He
the
does.
Bugle. Because Omega Red is a crazy person, and Pete beats the shit out of him, and then his baby explodes. That's it.
Yeah, he
That
has to
issue.
recount the entire like story to his teacher because she opens it.
Yeah.
The baby's just in a fucking like smoking ruins.
I do love that they still get to see, because genuinely Pete's like, no, so I was at the Daily Bugle, and then Omega Red shows up, and he's trying to kill J. Jonah Jameson, and then Spider-Red shows up, and they're fighting, and blah, blah, blah. I love that the teacher was like, all right, I'll give you like a C or whatever. Like, I can't dispute the fact that you fought a super, or, he doesn't say you Spider-Man fought a supervillain, but the fact that there was a supervillain there, it's like, all right, sure. Next issue, we get some Shocker. Shocker kidnaps Pete. Kind of annoying.
Cold opens with that.
Yeah, and Kitty eventually gets the police and like helps to save Spider-Man. But you get basically the issue is the important part is Shocker is like, you're a fucking kid and you ruined my life. I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then Pete asks him how he made like the Vibro Shock gauntlets, and Shocker's like, oh, I invented them, and then they were stolen from me by like Trask or whatever company. And Peter's like, man, why don't you just like be smart and make money? And Shocker doesn't like that, and then they beat Shocker up, and we never see Shocker again. So best bets are he died in Ultimatum, guys. I don't know, most people did. Whatever. It's time for the Symbiote War, which I actually don't really love this arc. If I'm gonna be honest,
is that what it was called?
Yeah, it's called the Symbiote War. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
it's a lot.
Kind of blows.
Yeah, this for me is like the one arc
insult to injury. If we're being real,
it's not great. It's also told in a very odd chronological manner. Like it's not.
It starts with Eddie recapping the events that happened, and then we cut to, I think it's present Peter, who's trying to stop Eddie at the bank, and then it cuts back to Eddie recounting the same story to another person. And then it cuts back to Peter again, who is chasing the Beetle because the Beetle shows up. We don't know this yet, but he's trying to get Eddie's symbiote. But Peter thinks he's just a new supervillain. Peter just thinks he's a run-of-the-mill guy. So he chases him, finds him trying to break into a, I don't remember, company. It's like some vault.
It's Trask.
Yeah. And then that happens. Beetle gets away after shooting Peter with his fucking beetle beam. I don't know what it is. Fucks him up. And then Nick Fury comes back. This is the other big thing that happens. Nick Fury comes back. He talks to Peter on top of the Bugle. And he talks to him. He's like, you know that Beetle guy? Leave him alone. Don't mess with him.
Yeah.
And as soon as Peter walks away, the pilot comes out. He's like, he's just gonna go mess with him. And Nick Fury's like, yeah, man, that's why I told him to do that. And then Nick Fury's just gone again. That's what
because that's in the past. Because this has there's the month. It's like a month ago,
that's
a week ago.
It switches back to Peter's perspective, and then at the end of that issue, I think it cuts back again to the bank stuff where he was fighting Eddie.
Yeah. Also, Eddie's eating people, by the way.
I liked him eating people on the benches because he's like recapping on the bench. He's like telling people, and they're like, "Huh?" And then he's just mauls them.
The bench is funny. I like the bench, and he'll be like, "Hey, my name's Eddie Brock. I'm hungry," and then they're just like, "All right, man," and then he eats them, and you're like, "Oh, okay." Like it's fun. Bendis, as we talked about in the first episode, which I was literally just editing earlier today. Bendis does not care about the symbiotes, and he clearly doesn't really give a shit about Eddie. Because, I don't even know. There's nothing going on except he's eating people. But
yeah, the Sable crew shows up again to capture him. And they take him to Trask.
Yeah, and then
Beetle shows up again and immediately takes care of the Sable crew because they're jobbers.
The most important thing here is the symbiote goes back to Peter for a minute. I was going to say, that's pretty good too, yeah. And then the Ultimates fight
Yeah,
him.
it happens after Beetle frees Eddie, and then the Ultimates fucking obliterate him with like a giant laser,
Yeah.
and then Thor's hammer.
Oh, also the symbiote eats a horse, like right before this. It like eats an entire police horse. And
a
I don't know.
police
It's just
officer.
it's just like it's really going. It's on a roll. But yeah, like Stewie, you said, Thor like fucking smites him, and then they're all like, "Man, that was crazy, huh? That symbiote thing." And Spider-Man's just like, "I deal with this shit on a weekly basis, dude."
Yeah,
like,
Peter just wakes up in his room and he like he's like freaking out because like I don't remember being here.
Yeah, but it's okay because Gwen comes back.
Yep.
And she's got like
Gwen,
a carnage face.
Yeah, we forgot to mention this. Gwen got taken into custody during the whole Clone Saga because she attacked Shield agents that showed up to Peter's house.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So when Norman escaped, she just fucking walked out the Triskelion.
Because the Shield sucks in the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah,
they
Shield
can't
is
do
so
shit.
bad. She didn't hurt anyone. She
No, she
literally
just
walked
walked
past
out.
all the supervillains and left.
Yeah. And then Gwen's back. You're like, okay, that's cool. Eddie shows up and he's like, Peter, give me my symbiote suit or I'll tell the whole world you're Spider-Man. Peter's kind of like, Peter's having a bit of a moral quandary where he's like, well, I can't give him the suit back, but I can't let him tell people I'm Spider-Man. That's bad. But it's okay because Eddie shows up to like blackmail him while Gwen is nearby, and then Gwen fucking carnages out or something. And then when that happens, Eddie's like, "Oh, the suit was inside of me all along," and he venoms out, and then he like wants to take Carnage, and then he does. He just absorbs Carnage out of Gwen.
Yeah.
And then Beetle kidnaps Eddie.
And he gets an infinitely worse design for it.
Yeah,
like, he
it doesn't
just
look
turns
good.
into
He's like a blobby, disgusting mess. Here's what matters: Beetle kidnaps him, and we never see Eddie Brock again.
No.
Including in the Miles book that is written by Brian Michael Bendis, where Miles fights Venom, and it's actually really cool. But it's just a crazy blob creature, and it has nothing to do with Eddie Brock. So Doctor Doom kills Eddie. That's the only thing I can assume. Because obviously Beetle works for Latveria, and so he takes him to Doctor Doom, and then I can only assume Doom just fucking kills him. I don't know. I mean,
he sucks him up in like an arm gauntlet too. Like, so there's no fight. He just points his little wristwatch at him. Just sucks him up like a fucking vacuum.
I could be wrong, but I do think there's an Ultimate event after Ultimatum where Doctor Doom like has the symbiote and he does some shit with the symbiote. I don't fucking know, man. I'll be honest with you. I don't know, and I don't.
Doctor Doom, what a fucking loser, bro. Fucking jobber.
And we're about to talk about that because right now it's ultimatum time. Okay, Nolan. Well, first, Nolan, what do you think of the symbiote war, and then what do you know about Ultimatum?
Symbiote war was all right. I really just liked the bench thing. Other than that, it was a thing. I liked Gwen in the Carnage face. I thought that was kind of cool looking.
Okay, yeah.
All right, buddy. That's good.
And now, what do you know about Ultimatum?
That it sucks. My dad hates it. I know you hate it. And that was it. That's all I know.
So
I didn't know anything about the
How'd you
Magneto stuff.
feel when you read it? How'd you feel?
Well, he didn't.
Oh,
read
I
Ultimatum.
felt
He read the good part about
Well, I
Ultimatum.
mean, the Spider-Man one was amazing.
Yeah, the Spider-Man stuff is peak. I've got some
Alright,
Ultimatum backstory here. Now,
Later.
this is I dove deep into some Marvel forums from years past, and by that I mean 2010 or 2008 or whenever Ultimatum happened. Basically, Marvel started the Ultimate Universe as a way of, like, they went to Brian Michael Bendis and they were like, we want you to write Ultimate Spider-Man. And when it was like, what is Ultimate Spider-Man? It was like, it's anything you want it to be. You could do whatever you want. And so they kind of started it, like the higher ups at Marvel had this idea where the Ultimate Universe would be this continuity-free place where you could just do whatever the fuck you wanted. It is not connected to the main universe. You could just do whatever. Until people really liked Ultimate Spider-Man, and then they did Ultimate Fantastic Four and X-Men and Ultimates, which are super continuity-based. Like, immediately it just became a new Marvel universe. And so Marvel didn't like that. And so the higher-ups at Marvel had this idea where it was basically like, why don't we do this big event that basically ends the Ultimate Universe. So when we bring it back, we can do whatever the fuck we want with it. We could kill all the characters. We could leave all the characters alive, but cripple them. Blah blah blah. You get the gist of it. And so that's Ultimatum, written by Jeff Loeb and drawn by David Finch. The art in the actual book is great. It doesn't matter for our purposes, but I do know that at the time of writing Ultimatum, Jeff Loeb, I believe, a child passed. He had lost a child like very shortly before writing it, and has said since that he was taking some frustrations out when he wrote Ultimatum, and I think you can tell. But that being said, the Spider-Man section is awesome because it's just Peter saving people. That's it.
Yeah, it's just Peter trying his best to stop what is essentially his entire world from ending.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have this moment, Johnny and Jessica, at the start, Johnny and Jessica fight the Vulture together. And Johnny immediately is kind of in love with Jessica. And he asks Peter about her. He's like, dude, you know this Spider-Woman? And Peter's just like, oh my god. Oh no. Like,
Peter's like, I'm not having this conversation.
Like, we can't do this right now. But then they're like, Pete and all the homies, the crew, are like, let's go hang out. And so they go into the city, and Aunt May's like, hey, be careful, and if it starts to rain, like, be safe. It starts to rain immediately. Oh, foreshadowing, you know? But the cops show up, and they grab Aunt May. And so you see
just arrest her for being
but they know
Peter's
she's they know the actual police know who Spider-Man is, and so they're like, but they think they know, and so they're trying to get info out of Aunt May, but she's not breaking, and she's like, I want to see my lawyer, and then at that exact moment, Magneto decides to shift the Earth's poles and flood the world. Okay, which is what happens in Ultimatum, of course, and so Aunt May gets free. And you see that Spider-Man immediately is just like, well, I gotta go save people. And so he starts to save people. And at the end of issue 130, he runs into the Hulk, which is like bad. Because, you know, the Hulk is...
Ultimate Hulk is even worse than regular, arguably.
Yeah, Hulk is really bad.
What's the deal with Hulk? I know he like
he's a cannibal misogynist who had a harem in East Asia before he became an adventurer. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, he's the same. Bruce Banner's the same. I mean, he's like a piece of shit because he's the ultimate Bruce Banner. But you know, Gamma Bomb, alternate personality, rage monster. That's it. And then everything Stewie said. But then we see. What's up?
What did he do in New York though?
In New York, he goes on a crazy rampage, and the Ultimates have to team up. Like it's like the first team up of the Ultimates is to take down the Hulk, who's like beating the shit out of people, and he rampages out because Betty Ross, his girlfriend / ex-wife, is dating someone new, and she rubs it in his face, and so he turns into the Hulk and he freaks out.
That was stupid.
Well, and then he depowers because Wasp shows her tits to him, and then the Ultimates beat him up because Ultimate Hulk.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's a horn dog.
Yep, you're not lying.
Yeah,
I was being dead ass.
Yeah.
He's just the worst person.
On
the team.
But it's
which is saying a fucking lot.
Listen, we're not talking about that right now. We're not talking about that because we get one of the greatest Spider-Man pages of all time, and it's J. Jonah Jameson in his big ass apartment talking to Robbie Robertson about how he was wrong and Spider-Man's actually fucking goated. And you just see it's a big page or like a couple panels of J. Jonah Jameson just looking out at the flooded New York, and Spider-Man is just diving into the water, saving as many people as humanly possible. It's one of the best things I've ever seen.
So good.
It's peak. We see that Aunt May is saved by Jessica Drew, who kind of she calls her Aunt May, and Aunt May's like, do I know you? And Jessica's like, oh, oops, my bad. She's like, I fucked up.
He says it in front of the cop that arrested her.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Daredevil dies off screen.
Yep, off screen. And Peter finds him, and he's like, oh god, Daredevil's fucking dead. And Hulk's just standing in the background, too. He's just fucking
Hulk's like,
there.
Daredevil friend. And then Spider-Man's like, yeah, man. Like, Banner comes back. Because Pete, like, convinces Hulk to do nice things. And then Banner comes back, and I love this moment where Hulk depowers, it's Banner. Banner looks at completely leveled and flooded New York, and he's like, oh no, what have I done? And then immediately turns back into the Hulk, because he's freaking out.
Didn't he say kill me or something?
Yeah,
he looks at
kill
Peter,
me.
he goes, I want you to kill me. And Peter's like, hey man, you didn't do this.
It doesn't matter, he hulks out, and now he's like angry. He's like freaking out, and so Peter's like, oh jeez, fucking Christ, man. And they wind up at the Sanctum Sanctorum, Doctor Strange's house, when it fucking explodes and a bunch of demons come out. No one can catch a break. By the way, Doctor Strange dead.
Yeah,
they cooked him.
Yeah, Hulk and Peter fight Nightmare, the villain that we saw earlier in this story, actually, as well as just random demons. Sure, man. That's like a whole issue. The next issue is completely wordless, and it is Jessica and Kitty just kind of saving people looking for Peter because they don't know where Peter is. And then all they find is his mask. Oh no, Spider-Man's dead. Not really. But that's the end of Ultimatum from Spider-Man's perspective. I think it's peak. What do you guys think?
It's peak.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Good art, great story.
Good when he disconnected from everything.
Oh, from Ultimatum. We don't talk. Yeah. I say we don't talk about Ultimatum. We're about to talk about Ultimatum.
You're about to talk about Ultimatum. So
yeah, we're about to talk about Ultimatum. But yeah, this story is great. The art is fantastic. And it is technically the end of the original
first
Ultimate Spider-Man. Issue 133 is the last issue. And then they relaunch it. Now, Nolan, you were having a lot of issues with the relaunch. You were unused to such a thing happening.
Yeah, and didn't you say that there was something that we just didn't read that kind of...
Yeah.
Should have read that.
So it wasn't on the because I found a reading list, and it was not on the reading list. And I had never read this before. I did not know this existed. But there's a book, there's a 2-issue book called Spider-Man Requiem, which basically takes, because there's a big time jump after Ultimatum to the new stuff. It takes place in between that. And it is mostly about a bunch of superheroes and their interactions with Spider-Man and how they think. And then it's about J. Jonah Jameson immediately after Ultimatum ends, where J. Jonah Jameson is like, we have to write an obituary, and it has to be the greatest thing we've ever written, because Spider-Man is actually the best person alive. Or, he's dead. They think he's dead. And so J. Jonah Jameson writes it himself, and it's extremely well written. It's like you actually get to read the Spider-Man obituary. And then the end of that issue is the Ultimates finding Peter, and he just doesn't have his mask. He's just maskless, but he is alive.
Where is he?
He's just under some rubble. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like anything crazy. They just find him under some rubble, and you're just like, oh, Peter's alive.
It's not like the demons were tossing him around that much.
No, I think he gets away from them. Yeah, because he explodes away from them. It doesn't matter. What we're about to do for a minute here, because I think it's funny, is we're going to talk about Ultimatum. All right. Now, the story of Ultimatum is basically just Magneto decides it's time to finally tweak, and he blows the world up. And then Charles Xavier, which you kind of see this in the Spider-Man one, Charles Xavier goes into the minds of all of the heroes, and he's like, we have to kill Magneto. Well, that's it. That's the story. They go to kill Magneto. Nick Fury's there. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. But they go to kill. There's a bunch of stuff, for instance, because Reed is there and the Thing is there, so they're the member of the the Fantastic Four are there, the X-Men are there, and then the Ultimates are there, sort of. Nick Fury is there, and then it's really the X-Men, and they do kill Magneto, but it's so bad. It's such a badly written event. it's so atrocious. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the list of all of the people who die. Now, this isn't in order. This is just kind of a list. I think this list is alphabetically speaking.
And Magneto kills them all in that fight.
No. This is from, well, all right. I'll read the list because it has how they died. Angel, the X-Men, is murdered and partially eaten by Sabretooth. Beast drowns in the wave. Blob has his head bitten off by Hank Pym after he eats Wasp. So Blob eats the Wasp, and then Hank Pym eats the Blob. Cannonball, an X-Men, is blown up by Madrox. That's another X-Men character. Cyclops is assassinated by Quicksilver. Daredevil is found dead. Dazzler, the X-Men, drowns. Detonator is tortured and killed in the Savage Land. That's an X-Men character. Doctor Strange is killed by Dormammu after, as it says here, after his body is constricted, causing his engorged head to explode. Emma Frost is blown up by Madrox. Forge is tortured and killed in the Savage Land. Franklin Storm, so that's Sue and Johnny's dad, is killed by the Ultimatum Wave. Hard Drive is tortured and killed in the Savage Land. Hank Pym is blown up by Madrox. Juggernaut.
This Madrox guy got a goddamn
He can
kill
clone
streak.
himself. He can clone himself. So it's just a bunch of, what he does is he sends up a bunch of suicide clones to kill people. I think, yeah, it doesn't matter. Juggernaut is hit in the eye by a poisonous dart by a Sentinel. Longshot, as an X-Men character, is tortured and killed in the Savage Land. Lorelei, as an X-Men character, is killed by Wolverine. Magneto has his head blown off by Cyclops. That's why Quicksilver assassinates Cyclops, by the way, just so you know. Because he's mad that he killed his dad. Nightcrawler drowns in the Ultimatum Wave. Polaris is blown up by Madrox. Professor X has his neck broken by Magneto. Psylocke is dead, though we never see it. Marvel just says it. Completely dies off screen. Sunspot is blown up by Madrox. Syndicate is dead after one of his heads is blown off by William Stryker, two X-Men characters. Thor kills himself. He surrenders his soul to Valhalla to save Valkyrie. So that's how Thor dies. Toad is listed as dead, though we never see it. Wasp is eaten by the Blob. Wolverine is completely shredded into atoms by Magneto. And then MIA or presumed dead. Firestar is MIA until we see her in Ultimate X issue 4, which is the relaunch Ultimate X-Men book. Havoc is MIA until we see him in Ultimate X 5. Madrox is killed by Wolverine, but is then seen later in another Ultimate X-Men book. Nightmare, who is presumably dead after the Hulk destroys Doctor Strange's orb, is shown again later, so whatever. Spider-Man is MIA until revealed to be alive. And Doctor Doom is killed by the Thing at the end of Ultimatum 5. The Thing shows up in Latveria, and he says, I'm going to do something that Reed never could. And he crushes his head. However, Doom comes back to life and reveals that the Thing actually killed Mary Storm, who I believe is Sue Storm's mom, in disguise as Doctor Doom. So the Thing just...
Is she bad? Or, like, not a bad guy?
I think Doom just kidnaps her and then disguises her as Doom, and then the Thing kills her by accident, not knowing. That's Ultimatum. Yeah. That's a lot of dead people, guys.
A lot.
Which is why I wanted to list it, because I think the amount of dead people is funny. Like Cyclops and Wolverine. You know, they killed, like, main characters. Thor, you know. Thor comes back to life later, I believe. But it doesn't matter. I don't think Cyclops and Wolverine ever do. I think they are dead forever. But we're going to go back to talking about Spider-Man. So the relaunch happens. And I don't think any of us really like the art here. I don't know. The names will be on screen or in the description below for all of the artists. It's very anime looking, I think. I guess is the best way to describe it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't love.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I do not like this first arc.
I think I will say I think the art in itself is passable. I just think it just doesn't really fit. Like,
not at all.
The story and the vibes. To keep praising it a little, I guess I do really like the action, and I think the paneling in the fights is very well done. But that's the thing I pay attention to, so it doesn't matter. Either way, Peter and Gwen are dating, which we all hate. This is atrocious. They are brother and sister. I tried to find out why. By the way, there's nothing online. Bendis has no. I don't know. I have no information on why he did this. He just did it.
He missed with this one.
Yeah, it's very bad. Either way, I actually like this opening arc because it's Ultimate Mysterio, and he kills Kingpin. He just kills him. Kingpin's dead.
Just fucking
He just kills him.
Yeah, I like Mysterio. There's just a lot of other stuff that happens in this arc. It's just
I don't
nonsense.
love him killing Ultimate Kingpin, but I do love his design. I love the blue fire. There's also yes, Stewie.
I was gonna say it's very I forget what also did it. There's a game that came out around the same time when this was happening that shared the design. I forget which one it is.
Oh, dude, I don't know. Unsure.
I want to say it's one of the Alliance games, but I could be wrong.
Oh, it could be Alliance. It could be Shattered Dimensions, maybe.
Maybe.
It doesn't matter. Ultimate Mysterio is cool. There's a twist with him later, but I won't say because it happens in the Miles book. So I'll just maybe we'll talk about that one day, but we're not talking about it today. So anyway, Mysterio's here. He kills Kingpin. Johnny shows up and he asks for. He doesn't want to live in the Fantastic Four anymore because like Reed and Sue broke up. Reed's kind of becoming a bad guy, but we're not going to talk about that right now. So Johnny instead is like, "Can I live at the Parker house with you and Gwen?" And Aunt May is like, "Of course." And so Johnny is now allowed. He is now a Parker family member. Kitty and Kong have broken up. I don't know. They break up off screen because Kong can't handle the mutant racism. This I also think is a miss. I don't like this.
Yeah.
But that's okay because Peter fights the Bombshells. 2 new villains. A mom and daughter pair of villains who, when they're near each other, can explode things. I like the Bombshells. I think they're cool. That's all I have to say about the Bombshells.
They didn't do a whole lot.
No, they don't.
That's all that really needs to
They
be
do
said.
more in the
Peter-
Miles book, because the thing I will say for viewers and obviously for you, Nolan, we cut off at the death of Spider-Man, but technically the Bendis Ultimate Spider-Man keeps going with Miles Morales. And so technically, like, stuff like the Bombshells and Mysterio, like, there's more to that. But that's a whole different character, and that's a lot to talk about. So we're not talking about Miles today. Either way, we do find out that MJ broke up with Peter, but Peter doesn't know why, and we as the audience also never learn why they broke up.
Yeah, just kind of brush over it.
It never comes up again. I don't hate this section of the book, like this whole relaunch. I think it's fine. It's still pretty much the same, but you can tell that Bendis just wants to end it. And then for whatever reason, I don't know, Marvel wasn't letting him right away, because you could tell he just wants to kill Spider-Man. I think. Like, there's plot lines that just show up and disappear immediately, and I don't know. Meanwhile, and you don't find this out right away, but Kitty Pryde she's basically left school and she is becoming like a vigilante. Not a bad guy, but she's dressed in like a hood. Yeah, she looks cool. She kind of looks like the Hood, which is a Marvel character that Bendis invented, but she's not. Either way, eventually Peter, MJ, and Gwen all become friends again. Mysterio and Spider-Man have a bunch of fights. At this point, Iceman shows up and he needs a place to stay, so he goes and he starts living with the Parkers as well. Mysterio makes Spider Slayers. Pete fights them at school. Johnny and Bobby, which is Iceman's real name, now go to school and they pretend to be like Peter's cousins. the cops like track down Mysterio, and then Mysterio just blows his building up and leaves, which I think is kind of hilarious. Bro just explodes and is like, I'm out.
He's kind of like losing it this entire time because he's like trying to be like this kind of like career criminal who goes around like robbing, but he gets progressively angrier the more Peter stops him. Like he genuinely starts just getting maniacal. Like
which makes a lot of sense when you read the Miles book and you learn about his real identity. I don't know if you remember that, Stewie, but
I don't.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I finished the Miles book because I was a little teenager and I saw Peter Parker get murdered.
You said I don't want any of this.
I was like, this isn't my go.
I don't blame you, but it's okay because from here we meet Rick Jones, who is a super important regular Marvel Universe character, but in this he gets picked by the Watcher, which if you saw, the Watchers are like weird stone statues in this universe. Don't know why.
Yeah, it's very weird.
I don't like
very
that.
Weird.
But okay.
This arc is weird in general.
Right. Rick Jones is picked to lead humanity into the future. And so you kind of just get this goofy fuck ass adventure with the Peter and his homies, as I'll call them, and then Rick Jones, where they fight the Lizard League, aka those invincible villains. Fuck. Whatever. Aka those guys from that one show we won't name. And then Rick leaves and he starts calling himself Nova, which is a Nova fan. I'm like, hey, don't do that. You don't get to do that. But it's okay because he eventually becomes Captain Marvel. The original Captain Marvel. And he does come back. He ends up helping fight the Maker when the Maker first becomes the Maker. So, fucking whatever. Not in this book. It doesn't matter. He's gone. At this point, Johnny and Jessica start making out. Which is...
they stopped the bombshells together because they show up again.
None of that matters. They they get together basically for a little bit. Peter, MJ, and I think it's Kitty Gwen, MJ, and Kitty cut Peter's hair, and it looks atrocious.
It looks so bad.
Chopped.
When your goat is washed. It's alright though, because at the same time, an anti-mutant task force shows up to arrest Kitty because mutants are now illegal in the United States, which is crazy.
Like 2 actual men in black show up in their classroom, draw pistols, and point them in the classroom at her.
Yeah, this is crazy.
It's just really crazy. We have a moment where Kong stands up, even though they've broken up, and he like tells him to fuck off, and her and Kong run away, and you think like, okay, well at least they're together. No, Kong immediately chickens out and leaves, which I hate. Just true like character assassination for Kong out of nowhere, dude. Like, I don't know. Kitty's kind of losing her mind, and so Peter and his homies have to go fight her a little bit, and they try to talk, try to be like, hey, stop being crazy. Like, mutant racism is bad, but like, I don't know, we can figure this out. And then she kind of runs away. And we're like, all right. We have a moment where Pete introduces MJ to Ben Urich because MJ wants to report on like the cops, the fucking men in black, as Stewie put it, showing up and arresting Kitty. And Ben Urich is like, dude, this is good news shit. I like this. And then we see Peter get kidnapped by J. Jonah Jameson. And you're like, wow, that's crazy. And the guy who kidnaps him then changes his face into Peter's face. And it's Chameleon.
It's so bad. It is.
I like Ultimate Chameleon. I'm like, I think this is fun. Just me?
Yeah, I can't really justify this. I genuinely I cannot play devil's advocate here. There's nothing I like about this art.
I can't tell you what it is.
Chameleon.
But this is the kind of, I don't know why, but I love there's the issue all from Ultimate Chameleon's perspective where the monologue opens. He goes, I am not Peter Parker. And he goes and he makes out with MJ, which is weird because he's an adult. So that is like statutory rape. But like, he's a supervillain. So you know what? I'm not defending his actions. I just think I like the art. But he makes out with MJ, and then he makes out with Gwen, and then Gwen finds out he made out with MJ, and it's like, oh no, and Gwen like breaks up with Peter, and Gwen leaves. She just runs away. And Aunt May kind of has this moment where she's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, Peter?" And then she realizes it's not Peter, and so she tells the boys to lock in. She's like, "Homies," because I'm gonna keep calling him that. Go lock in and find out where Peter is. And I like this. I like this part. I like that they get super pissed off that this guy like pretended to be Peter Parker.
Yeah, sure.
And then
it's good part.
Also, we find out there's another chameleon, like it's twins. It's a guy and his twin sister, and they have J. Jonah Jameson, who they were just gonna like get money from J. Jonah Jameson, but now they have Jonah and they have Peter, and like Jonah figures out that Peter is Spider-Man because the chameleons are talking about it, and then the chameleon shoots Jonah in the head, but Peter like kind of tries to stop it. It doesn't matter. He gets shot in the head. He survives. It's okay. The other chameleon shows up, and then Iceman and Human Torch show up, and they free Peter, and they beat up the chameleons, and we never see the chameleons again.
That whole section where they first show up, and fucking and Iceman is like, "Are you sure it's not Peter?" And
Iceman is an idiot. Stupid. Iceman is so stupid in this book. Johnny is like an actual character. In front of a
truck with piles of money, a dead guy next to him, and 2 like machine guns. And Iceman's like, "Are you sure, Johnny? What are we talking about?" Like, what are we talking about?
It's pretty stupid. I do think the arc is stupid. I just had fun reading it. I was just like, haha, this is stupid. But all that matters is Gwen and MJ have a moment where they like truly become friends again. Peter and MJ sort of have a moment where Peter's like, "Yeah, I was being kidnapped and someone was faking." So Peter and MJ kind of like make up and become friends, like good friends again. The younger of the bombshells comes to school, and Bobby has a crush on her. That's all that matters about that. And Gwen is gone.
Yep, she just fucking leaves.
Then we get issue 150, which is that's a crazy landmark issue where essentially just a bunch of fun action things. It's just like a bunch of fun little short stories, and then Carol Danvers shows up and she's like, "Spider-Man, you're such a bad superhero. You have to go to superhero school because the Ultimates voted on it and only Tony Stark liked you," which I think is really stupid.
Yeah. You got Ultimate Captain America.
Dude, fuck Ultimate Captain America, dude.
He's just a kid. He doesn't have the experience.
This kid, I interacted with this kid once, and he was super bad at his job, and he was making quips and jokes, and he was enjoying his life. Fucking hate him, dude. Fucking hate Ultimate Captain America. I think the superhero school thing is, like, really stupid. Because Peter has done so much shit.
And they don't do anything anyways?
No. Also, you have at the end of this, we have a moment where I think Peter, for a class project, writes a very beautiful thing about Uncle Ben being his true father and being dead. Rip Uncle Ben. Sorry, Gwen comes back. Mysterio comes back. Black Cat comes back. Mysterio and Black Cat have a little bit of a fight because Mysterio killed Kingpin, which obviously Black Cat wanted to do. And they're both now trying to steal the same object, but they're not really talking about what it is, but they're both trying to get the same thing. And so Mysterio's like, maybe we could work together, but Black Cat's not having it, so they end up fighting. Gwen comes back, her and Peter make up, but then she breaks up with Gwen because according to her, she forced Peter to be with her. She's like, "Yeah, you didn't even want to be with me, I forced you to do that." Peter's like, "Dude, you were hot, I just wanted to make out with you."
Because I was like, Peter definitely did not care. He's the way their relationship is written. You would think they were dating the whole book.
I hate everything about this relationship. I'm glad it's over. Iron Man does show up for a little bit of superhero training. And he basically tells Peter, he's like, "Yeah, I don't think you need this. I'm actually the one guy who liked you. So like, you just do whatever the fuck you want."
I mean, Thor did. Thor
voted no. Thor wasn't like, "You are."
Yeah, because he's an idiot. Okay?
Yeah, well, he's a hippie who thinks he's fucking Thor, and he's actually not. He's just crazy. But like, fucking Ultimate Universe. Either way, Black Cat and Mysterio are here. They have the weird, crazy artifact they were after. And then Black Cat accidentally blows the building up. And Tony and Peter show up. And then Mysterio gets the weird artifact. And it basically just grants you wishes. And you find out that Kingpin had this artifact because he found it. And then realized how powerful it was. So he never wanted anyone ever to have it. And I think that's really weird.
Yeah, like gives you wishes in exchange for like a lot of people dying or something. It's
I don't
really
know.
well explained.
I don't think Kingpin. I don't think Kingpin would look for it. I don't think if he found it, he would hide it.
Yeah, because like he picks it up, he like touches it once, and he wipes out everyone around him. He's like, "Dear God, no one can have this."
I also think
and, like,
I think he would have
Kingpin
used it
would
to
die.
heal Vanessa.
Kingpin would do so much evil with that.
Yeah, Kingpin would kill
comic
Spider-Man
concept.
with it. By the way, that's what Kingpin would do with that thing. It doesn't matter. They fight Mysterio. Tony ends up saving, or fucking Tony. Spider-Man saves the day by beating the shit out of Mysterio. Tony realizes Mysterio was
He
a
gets
robot.
shot by
Yeah,
like,
he
a
gets shot and
gold
is out
laser.
immediately because he sucks. But Tony wakes up and he realizes the Mysterio thing is a robot, like a puppet thing. And at this point, Peter goes to like MJ's house and they have a moment where they get back together because they truly love each other. And then it's Peter's birthday. And frankly, they call him 16. But I don't know that the timeline fully lines up. I feel like he's been 16 for a long, or 15 for a
like
damn long
it's
time.
not like brought up in the book a lot, but like all those events, like all these issues, 1 year. All of this happens to Peter in the span of a year.
I don't know, man. That's a lot. But hey, what do I know? Peter ends up convincing Kitty to come back, which is where we find out that her and Kong broke up, which I think is just completely stupid. But hey, Jonah's back. He does have a bullet hole in his head, but he's okay. And he gives Peter a job because he's like, you are goated, and I want to help do anything you want. Great conversation.
I like how Peter like the entire time was like, "Hey man, I appreciate it, but I just want like my old job back." He was like, "No, you're getting it all." Okay.
He's like, "I'm gonna put you through college," and Peter's like, "I don't want you to do it." He goes, "Nah, you know, I have so much money, you don't even get a choice. I'm gonna pay you to put you through college." And I don't know. I love that Jonah's just so like he's trying to make up for past sins, you know, and I think that's very fun. But it doesn't matter because it's time for the death of Spider-Man, boys. All right.
We're so back.
We are so back. Bagley comes back. Stuart Immonen comes back. Listen, we get the artists.
It looks like Spider-Man again.
Yeah, that's the Bagley. But this beautiful arc, which is, I think, one of the best arcs in the entire book, starts off with Cap trying to lecture Peter about like death and how Peter doesn't take this shit seriously, which, by the way,
bullshit.
Fuck you, Captain America. If I didn't say it earlier, fuck you, you piece of shit. Okay? You don't take this shit seriously, kid. What do you know about death? Oh man, I don't know. My uncle, my dad and mom, my best friend, like Gwen for a little bit.
Hundreds of people around me every single day.
Yeah, dude, Daredevil.
I'm soloing the apocalypse, and you're doing what?
You're being racist? Oh, okay, yeah. Fuck you, Captain America. It's all right though.
And to top it all off, fucking Norman Osborn is still alive.
Oh yeah, he's
Carol Danvers is holding Norman Osborn in this like little fucking like orange tube. And they let him live for some reason.
They do say though, there's like one piece of dialogue where they mention they just don't know why he won't die. So
yeah, I don't know, man. I think you could just like get Iron Man to throw him into the sun.
There is, I will say, slight spoilers for the Miles book. He does come back in the Miles book.
No.
He comes back and is immortal. They kill him in the Miles book and he dies permanently. Because the universe explodes when that book ends. So
the only good thing the maker has done right there.
Yeah. Peter also comes back in the Miles book, and it's at the very end of the Miles book. Yeah. It is literally like the last 4 issues before the universe explodes. Norman comes back, and he has a great fight with Miles, by the way. It's awesome. because Miles is very different from Peter, and Norman's like not having it. It's fun. But then Peter comes back to life, and it's just like, it's atrocious. I hate it. But it's okay because that's not canon anymore because that universe explodes, so that doesn't count. Either way, as Stewie mentioned, Norman escapes, but he escapes with like the sinister. There's not actually 6 of them, but the sinister whatever. Yeah.
Doc Ock, Electro, and Vulture. And we
Craven,
were also wrong. Craven does come back.
But he doesn't have superpowers anymore.
Nope, he's just a fucking guy.
I don't know.
Just a loser.
Ock is also escapes, but Ock wants nothing to do with them. So Ock and Norman Osborn fight, and then Norman Osborn murders Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Dropping a fucking skyscraper.
Which I like, honestly. I think that's a fun way to end.
Yeah, I think it's a nice rivalry they have throughout the book.
Yeah. But this is when shit starts to get serious. All right. So Norman's out. Everyone knows that. So Peter goes. He gets Aunt May and Gwen out, and just everything about this arc is so good. Where they're like super scared for him, and he's like, "Listen, this shit's fucked up, but I've done this before. Just get out of town, and we'll be fine." And he he's like swinging around the city because when the Norman got out, like not just the Sinister Six got out, but like everybody at Shield at the Triskelion got out, and so we see this moment where Cap is fighting a bunch of supervillains. And then the Punisher is gonna kill Captain America. He's gonna snipe Captain America. So Peter takes a bullet for Captain America.
Oh, I thought he was gonna snipe Nick Fury because Captain America was standing over Nick Fury on a bridge. That's what I was trying to talk about. It's like, why the fuck was Captain America like about a?
Captain America was doing weird shit. I don't know why. I don't know. It's never explained. But no, Punisher's gonna shoot Cap. Because he's gonna stop Captain America from killing Nick Fury, which is why. And then Peter takes the bullet for him. And the best part about this is when Peter wakes up, they're all fucking gone.
Just left them there to bleed out. And now let me say this real quick because we don't see this in the book. We see this. I forget which book it is. Punisher regrets shooting Peter.
Oh, he feels really
like
bad
he feels real bad. You know, he could have helped by picking him up and taking him to a hospital,
bandaging him. You know,
anything besides running away like a loser. Because
by the way,
there
are tie-ins, like there are Ultimates, the Death of Spider-Man tie-ins. So that probably explains what you're asking, Nolan. I haven't read them because I hate the Ultimates, and I'm never gonna read them because I hate the Ultimates. So I don't know. That might explain why they leave Peter bleeding out on the bridge. Because I think they're on the Brooklyn Bridge, or they're just on the bridge. I'm not sure. Either way, they leave him there, and Peter is like really fucked up. It's like where did it's like the abdomen? It's like the chest area. Like it's like, or there's maybe it's the shoulder, but either way, he is.
No, it was definitely his like lower torso.
Yeah, it's like it was like a gut. Like. And so he kind of like webs it up and that's the best he can do. And he's like, okay, I guess I have to go home now to like stop Green Goblin.
I'll go find a hospital. And then he looks up and he sees the entire Sinister Six heading towards his house.
Yeah, heading towards Queens.
The little panel where he like looks up at them and then looks back down. Oh, I love that. He's like, God damn it.
Yeah, it's very much just like fucking Christ. We do see Bobby and Johnny, who were like just doing shit in the city. They go back to the Parker house. Nobody's there. And then all of a sudden the Sinister Six show up. And the Sinister Six are like, who the fuck are these people? And Johnny and Bobby are like, all right, well, I guess it's time to superhero out and fight these guys. And so they kind of put up a fight. Like, Johnny actually knocks out Green Goblin, which is pretty useful. But then they get their ass beat by the rest of them. Come on, guys.
Yeah, Johnny gets doused by Sandman, and then Iceman just...
Come on, guys.
I think he gets blown up by Electro.
He gets blown up by Electro because he, like, attacks Electro, and then Electro goes, kid, you're made of fucking ice. And then just blasts him with electricity because, you know, ice is water, huh? I'm not. It makes sense that they get their ass beat, but I'm like, boys, you couldn't have locked in a little bit more. Like, you couldn't have done just a tad bit more.
Trying to at least hit the human being completely unarmored.
Right. Either way, we have what I think is a fantastic moment because they
Yeah.
beat up Johnny and Bobby, and the Sinister Six minus Norman, who is asleep, are like, okay, where the fuck is Spider-Man? And then you just see him off in the distance, like aura farming, bro, and you're just like, oh, okay. And so Peter starts beating the shit out of all of them, and it's
Yeah,
not.
it's so good because Vulture immediately charges him, and Peter just webs him and throws him out the neighborhood. He looks at the others, he's like, "Who's next?"
He's like, all right, boys, like let's go. And so they like they have this big fight, and Peter's like trying to avoid him, and they realize he's weak, and so they're taking advantage of that, and it's pretty bad, and he gets it down to like the rest of them minus because Vulture's just gone for the rest of it. And you get this moment where you're like, oh, Peter's like about to lose, and then Aunt May shows up and she shoots Electro, and he explodes.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest like Deus Ex Machina of the book because like Shield shoots Electro like all the time. Like,
Yeah, I
early
mean,
in
how does he explode? I don't know, but like it doesn't matter.
Blasts him with her revolver.
I think the idea
him.
is that he's dead. I think like it is supposed to think that Aunt May, she doesn't, he comes back, but in the Miles book, but like I think you're supposed to think he's dead, and so he explodes, and it knocks all of them out, and then that's when Norman Osborn wakes up, and so Peter like wakes Johnny up, and he's like, I need your fucking help, man, I can't do this. And so Johnny tries to help him fight Norman, and then Norman just absorbs Johnny's fire, and now he's all like he's like Super Saiyan Green Goblin. And so they fight, and MJ crashes a fucking like a big truck with like a propane tank on the back into Norman Osborn or whatever. Goated MJ move, I guess. And so Peter picks the truck up and then slams it down onto Norman, and the truck explodes, killing Norman Osborn until he comes back to life later, and then killing Peter Parker.
I thought a truck kills him, like getting blown up by like in a truck, you know, but like nothing else does.
I mean, I think I think he's already a little weak, and then Peter fucking slams and smashes him with a truck.
He drops on him like 3 times.
Yeah, it's a big truck too. It shows how strong Spider-Man is because he was shot and already fighting the rest of the Sinister Six, and he could still do that. But either way, Peter dies. With his final words, I think are, what does he say? He says like, "I did it," in regards to protecting Aunt May, and you know what? I cried again.
Yeah, it's rough, man. It's bad.
It's a painful one.
It's not good.
Yeah, and I knew it was gonna happen, but it's great.
Dude, that Uncle Ben art.
The uncle
to the light.
You did good, kid. And then that's bad, man. It is rough. I think this is the best death of any mainline superhero ever. I think for me, a lot of comic book deaths are kind of stupid because I just know the character's gonna come back to it. It doesn't hit. But this, I think this hits. This is beautiful. It's a good ending.
It's really good.
It's great. The art's great. The
made up for the goofiness with all the anime stuff.
Yeah, I think it is tonal whiplash. I really would have just preferred.
I was gonna say that earlier. The relaunch stuff is like insane because it's just slice of life, Peter, and then you cut to this, and it's like the worst thing imaginable happens.
Yeah. I really think, honestly, you're better off getting up to 133, reading that. I guess Spider-Man Requiem, which again, if I knew it existed, we would have read it. My bad. And then I honestly think just skipping to Death of Spider-Man is probably the better. I mean, obviously, if you want the full story, there's stuff for you to read, but like, if you're just looking for stuff that tonally makes sense, just go straight to Death of Spider-Man.
Yeah, the only thing is like the Magneto thing. You're like, oh, I guess Magneto's out, but like that arc was whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. There's stuff where it's a little like Or Mysterio, yeah. And, you know, there's stuff like that where you like, yeah, you're gonna miss some stuff, but like, it's bad tonal whiplash, and I think I don't hate it, but it does hurt the book. Like if I had to label a criticism, it's not good tonally to go from Ultimatum, which is also like a death of Spider-Man. We were like, holy shit, Spider-Man just died. And then just be like, haha, they're having fun anime shit. And Peter and Gwen are together. And MJ's sad. And Kitty's over here. And Bobby and Johnny live with him now. Oh, okay, he's dead. It's weird. I don't know. It feels weird. The book is still fantastic, though. I still love it. I think it's a 10 out of 10, I'd say. Still easily my favorite, like, Spider-Man book. Favorite Spider-Man writer and stuff. You know, I don't know. It's the life and death of Ultimate Spider-Man is peak. What about you, Nolan? You're the one who hasn't read it before. So overall thoughts.
It's amazing. I think all in all, it's like a 9 or a 9.5. I think I can't give it quite a 10 because of how agonizing the relaunch was for me to read.
Okay.
But it is peak. Like, it's very fucking good. And it makes me, every time I hear Spider-Man slander, I want to drop kick him.
That's real. We got him. Spider-Man peeled over here.
Give me a new appreciation for Dr. Octopus. I always thought he was a goofball, but now I'm like, I really like him as a villain.
Yeah. That's what we like to hear. Okay. And you, Stewie?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this was the first real comic I read, so I kind of has a special place in my heart. I really like the entire run. And reading The Death of Spider-Man, devastating to my middle schooler psyche.
It hurts.
Really obliterated me.
No, it's pretty bad to read this. Both of us is our first ever real comic and our first ever like Spider-Man comic, you know, to read this story about a guy who's basically our age and then he fucking dies is pretty bad. But hey, Ultimate Spider-Man's peak. I don't know, you guys have any lasting, you have any last words?
Not really. It's good stuff. I'm excited for our next project.
Are you really?
Not really. I don't. I won't say what it is, but all I'll say is I don't like reading things that'll never get finished.
Hey man, you're giving it away, dude.
No, I'm not.
There's only 2 book series, and there's a lot of book series that are unfinished, but there's only 2 big book series.
Hey, I never say anything that it's big.
Just because you don't like Homestuck.
Okay, don't even joke.
God.
Don't
Okay.
even joke.
I'm joking, it's not Homestuck. It's not Homestuck.
Hey, you joke about Homestuck one more time, I'm putting a wild bow on the wheel next time.
No! There will be no Wild Bow, and there will be no Homestuck on Cantos ever. And I say that now. I put my foot down now.
Bro doesn't want views, clearly.
As the editor, fuck views, dude. I'm not doing it ever again. All right. What we're going to do, we're doing something crazy. We're doing something drastically different. It's not that different. It's not that crazy. But that's what we're doing. And you know what? When will that video come out? I can't tell you. I have no idea. But I'll tell you what.
A month or two. 2 months, probably.
I'll tell you what. This one right here is going to come out in December. Okay. And you know what else is coming out in December to look forward to? Dear viewers, if you watched all 3 parts, thank you to the 5 people who watch our very bad videos.
Dude, it went up from 3. Let's go.
It went up from 3 to 5. But listen. The next thing before our other Cantos project will be we're going to talk about the new Ultimate series. All right, I just wanted to shout that out. I wanted to say get ready because we're going to talk about the other Ultimate Spider-Man, not Miles. Maybe one day, but we're going to talk about the new Ultimate Spider-Man and how we feel about that and what that book means to us. Also, I guess we'll talk about Ultimate Endgame, but like. Yeah, I don't know. That book's not out yet, so I have no thoughts on that book yet.
We'll see how that goes.
Coming out in December through April, so who knows? But all right, dear viewers, thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Bye.